Here we are back on a Friday taking a look at some interesting Magic cards that you should be watching. So many great Magic cards out there can be overlooked or forgotten until you have to go ahead and purchase one for yourself and you realize how expensive that card has become. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks for hanging out with me on the channel today for another episode of Cards to Watch. With the amount of cards available to the average player now, depending on the deck you're building and what format you're playing in, most of us have to end up going to an online retailer, to a local store, asking our friends, trading, buying, selling, whatever it takes to get the cards we want to build our deck. I myself went ahead and tried to buy a Mana Crypt and they're not $140 anymore. Kind of threw me for a little bit of sticker shock, and I'm sure most of you have felt the same way when it's a card you don't readily see but you want to put it in one of the fabulous decks you're building. When I go ahead now and start to purchase cards, I usually buy them en masse when I see there's a good deal, even if it's a card that I'm not directly after right now. If I see it's cheap and it's a mythic that I think has some playability, or before it was at a higher price, usually I'll end up picking up at least a playset because it's at a cheaper price right now, and if it doesn't get a reprint, a lot of these cards tend to start eking their way back up the market ladder to becoming very pricey cards again. So let's go ahead today, take a look at some amazing Magic cards out there that you should be watching, and we'll have a discussion as we go through the video. So I'm going to start things off today with Erborg, the original Erborg from Legends. Yeah, I mean, guys, it's an old school land that has no drawbacks, but it has a lot of stuff going for it. When you look at it, yes, it's a legendary land, okay? But look at that price, $25.42. You have to ask yourself why it's even that high, and it's simple. It adds 1 black to your mana pool, but you can also tap it to remove First Strike or a Swamp Walk ability. Now, we don't see Swamp Walk too often anymore. A lot of the land walk abilities have kind of fallen to the wayside. And be careful, there's decks out there that still use that stuff. But it's the idea you can take away First Strike when there's a lot of cards out there that use that ability right now. It's nice to have a card like this in your deck that can deal with it depending on what you're playing. Now, again, depending on the condition of the card you're after, $25 is a pretty reasonable price from a card from 1994 that's never been reprinted and is unlikely to ever be reprinted. I call that thing like the pseudo-reserve list, right? It's not a real reserve list card, but they have no intention of ever reprinting cards like this because it makes no sense for them to do it. It has tons of abilities with no drawback, and Wizards does not like doing that anymore. I mean, that's just the way they like to play things out now. So it's a great card to keep an eye on. It's also very inexpensive. You can go on things like TCG Player and find this thing for like $15 to $17 US and just buy a moderately played copy. Great to have for some decks you might be building. Now, we're going ahead and looking at our next card. Let's look at Modern Horizons First Sliver. It's had the retro art frame kind of reprint done, but this card at one point was over that $40 mark. It's really come down in price. They're probably going to let it sit for a number of years now because they don't like to over-reprint things. Wizards wants there to be equity building in cards like this to make players desire it when it gets printed. I mean, they can't redo Sliver Queen, so they did give us the first Sliver for its Cascade ability. And there's a lot of players out there who love to play with slivers. I'm hoping my Team Thrall one day gets this much tribal support. I know it's unlikely, but I still hope for it each and every day. So when you look at the first sliver and see it's like $17.75 US, that's a very affordable card to start building a sliver deck in almost any format you want to play it in. It's a great card, guys. Very underpriced. And look at the foil. In Modern Horizons, foils were actually kind of harder to get of different versions of cards. That's why the multiplier on this thing is insane. It's only going to get worse, okay? You're not opening Modern Horizons anymore. They're kind of expensive. A lot of players are just kind of shelving that stuff. $47.41, that is a lot of cash to deal with. But at the same time, that is a foil that's not coming around anytime soon, if ever. Now, our next card is going to be Old Gnawbone, and that's Adventures in Forgotten Realms. That's AFR, a hated set. I loved it, but a lot of players didn't like it. But they recently announced, I saw that spoiler one from Magic Historian saying they're going to do this whole Dragon's Secret Lair. Let's remember something here, though. That's in a secret lair. Chances are after AFR rotates out, it's done. They're not reprinting it now. It's all out. we're not going to see Old Gnawbone probably reprinted for a very long time. You might see a decrease in the price of this card for a temporary time period after it rotates out. And when the secret layer comes, players get excited and the price goes down even further. This is still a mythic, people. It's still a great card to have. There's going to be a lot of Dragon Commander decks coming up. And that secret layer, it kind of comes and goes and it'll get forgotten. A lot of players will keep them sealed. Some people will crack them. I'm sure a few stores will have the singles out there. And this thing will be forgotten and slowly start creeping up. So if it crashes down after it rotates out and you haven't got a copy yet, this is something you're going to want to keep your eye on. At least get a playset probably. If it hits that $20 level, it'll be insane. Now, Soul Ring, Masterpieces, Kaladesh Inventions. I know. Crazy to see how expensive this has become. I think this is like a second most expensive version. I think it overtook the beta from what people on my Patreon were telling me. It was kind of nuts, guys. But all of the inventions are slowly creeping up. I did a video on this. You guys can look back and watch it. It was kind of, some good information there. If you see inventions cheap, if you can get your hands on some of these cards, the artwork is just brilliant. The cards are all pretty versatile from this series. And there's just something about them that's just style still. There's just something about it. And they're unique. That collectability for cards like this going forward will be huge. So any of those Kaladesh Inventions, the Invocations, all those types of cards, you're not seeing them anymore, right? Wizards is giving that stuff a break right now. It's been a number of years. If it takes a few more years, imagine where cards like this are going to go. They're only going to go up. They're not getting reprints, it looks like. Now, Reflecting Pool. This again is coming out from Commander Legends Baldur's Gate. This is a very affordable card right now. I actually think this card will only fall temporarily. I think this card is going to go up. At $12 US to get a copy, I do recommend buying one if you don't have one already. Okay? $12 is nothing to invest in a card like this that can be played in so many formats. I know a lot of players who will probably buy a playset at this price because the other versions are more expensive. Now, those prices will probably be dragged down temporarily. But depending on how well this product is received in the future, this card could fall a little bit more, but I don't see it hitting ground zero. And then Wizards will probably give this card a break as well. They don't want it going to like a $5 card. They want it to stay at that $10 to $20 level. So expect this card to get a break after this, which a lot of people won't realize. If you get a chance to get some cheap, or if this card does drop to $5, $6, you're going to see people buy multiple play sets and hold on for investment purposes. All right, Liliana The Veil. This is the Innistrad version. Again, old school foils here are getting expensive, okay? You're still talking a very old set now. This one's been reprinted multiple times. The price has kind of been going up and down. You can see near the end there, it's just starting to fall down again. Not seeing as much play as it did. We kind of moved on. A lot of players are trying different decks out, but it still holds significant value. If it doesn't see a reprint in the next couple of years, this card's going to start going up just because the market will have absorbed all the copies available, and this card will start creeping up. You're going to see a few investors start hitting off and buying some of these copies. If you don't have a copy, you might want to get it if it goes a little bit lower than this, just to say you have one, and then you never have to worry about it again. All right, the Blight Step pathway. Call time. Call time is going to be done. We're rotating out. It's history. Players aren't opening this set either. They've moved their money on to other products. When you're looking at the pathways from Call Time, there's only 4. They are harder to get. They're more difficult. When the pathways all rotate out, if you think these aren't going to start going up, you're wrong. They're going to start creeping up. I don't know if Wizards will actually reprint them anytime soon into an actual standardized set again, or if they're going to kind of leave them to the wayside like they've been doing with the Ikoria lands. I think they're going to leave them and let them build a little bit in value and become more of the specialty land sets. I'll be curious to see what they do with it, but I've made sure myself to grab a play set of each type of pathway because they're cheap right now. They're affordable. I don't care what type you can get your hands on. You don't want to be caught if these things go up to $15, $20. It's better to spend the $5 and get it done and out of the way. And in some cases, they're even cheaper than that. You just got to check your local LGS. All right, we have the beautiful Bountiful Promenade. Guys, these lands have all been reprinted in Baldur's Gate Commander Legends, okay? Great to see them back in play. The prices are perfect right now. They are just ripe for people to buy. They started at like that $30 level. At my local shops, I saw people have paid $30 per land, and they were sold out. I honestly don't think these things ever should have been $30. The $10 level seems very affordable. And you know what? It probably is going to fall there. But all those people who bought them at pre-release pricing and paid the $30 per land, I hate when people buy things at pre-release. You got to wait pre-release plus 90. Okay, wait the extra days. I haven't even got boxes to open yet in the channel till probably this weekend. It's like, guys, you got to let these sets settle in. Okay? I know a lot of people are buying singles, but let the prices settle. Let the dust settle. Let other people take those hits, not you guys. All right. Ancient Copper Dragon. I'm just showing the borderless version here. If you think it's going to stay at $39, you're wrong. It's not. It's a great card. Sure, it's going to be fun. A lot of the dragons from this set are going to be decent cards. But again, you're looking at pre-release pricing. It's not going to hold. I just can't see these prices holding. And I don't want players to get suckered into buying this stuff at a top dollar price and get nailed by it. Wait. Just wait for these things to settle in. I just think it's scary when I see them this high. Now, with the different versions of all these cards, I don't care. I don't think the variation matters that much to most players. There'll be some players who prefer the old kind of storybook artwork we used to see back in the 90s in our monstrous compendiums. But there'll also be those who love like the Ancient Copper Dragon kind of artwork, the more comic booky style stuff. Guys, you see these prices? They're all going to come down, okay? I'm showing you the cards today just to warn you all. I'm seeing all these things sold out at all my stores. I was taking some looks and I asked for some previous pricing from numerous stores to see how they've sold. They've sold really well. Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate right now, I can tell you the singles are selling extraordinarily well. And it freaks me out because I think these prices are going to start falling and coming into a more reasonable price point. I believe it. Now, Tasha, the Witch Queen, same deal as the other two. This one's already starting to fall. People have kind of assessed it. They've done some homework on it, and they think it'll be okay, but not that great. And you can see that price is starting to be reflected. It's going to fall further than that. You can keep an eye on it as much as you want. It isn't going to make anything change. Cards like this, when they come out new, everyone, they get that new, you know, that brand new toy look. You're like, it's a brand new toy. I want to have it. Oh, I can't wait. It's like the new iPhone. You got to look beyond that. This is your hard-earned money, and you're playing a game with it. You got to be savvy and smart about this stuff. It's not a reserve list card, you know? I mean, I don't think they're going to reprint these things anytime soon. I honestly don't believe that. But it's just something to keep an eye on. Don't spend your hard-earned money all at once on cards like this you know will probably fall in value, and you'll kick yourself later knowing you could have saved some big bucks. All right, and now here. The last one I want to show you guys. An offer you can't refuse. This one here has been trending down a little bit in price. Don't let that fool you, okay? With the card An Offer You Can't Refuse, I think a card like this is actually going to do very well. It isn't uncommon. It's from Streets of New Capenna. The money's already moved on. I think it's going to start going up in about 90 days. We have other products coming online. People aren't cracking as much of it. I've opened some boxes. I didn't get that many. If you don't have a couple of play sets yet, you might want to get yourself a couple of play sets. Spend $12, $13 just so you have it. 4 for yourself and then 4 for a possible investment later on, because I think it's going to be a very desirable card going forward. I see a lot of uses for this. I'm using it in a lot of my decks right now in Arena, and I'm going to be adding a card here or there into my Commander decks to try them out. I just think it's a fun card with a lot of versatility. You guys will let me know what you think as well. So those are the cards I wanted to share with everyone today. I'd love to hear your opinions and thoughts on a lot of the cards I've shared with you, meshing up against what I've said. And you know what? There are so many cards out there that I love doing these videos each and every week and just having these conversations with you. I think it has to be said. It's not always the hottest selling card, I agree, but these are cards that have value and can continue to go up. There's so many cards out there, Modern Horizons, that are just being missed right now that will probably start creeping up. And don't forget Modern Horizons 2. Epic set. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in today. Thanks for hanging out with me on the channel. And you know what? I can't wait to see you guys in the weekend for the Hot Top 10 on Saturday and the Hot Top 10 Reserve List Edition on Sunday. And then, of course, the live stream, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. I'll see you guys there. Have an awesome day. I almost said weekend, but I meant to say day. And of course, a big thank you goes out to each and every one of the fantastic Patreon members and YouTube membership supporters who support this channel each and every day, each and every month. Thank you so much. Here we are at the end of the video. There's your 10K card. That is an island from Forgotten Realms AFR with a boat sailing in it. Taking a vacation somewhere. Pretty cool stuff. Thank you all for making it till the end of the video. Pretty amazing. You know, I know it's not for everyone, but you're the special ones who make it right till the end. The ones who, make sure that you're the special ones. I love that. And of course, part of the Army of Darkness, the Tinfoil Hat Army. So Deadly Excavations, baby. So you all have a fantastic day. I hope your weekend is going to be sunny and bright. I look forward to seeing you all the live stream on Sunday. Have a rockin' one.